Hello, I'm Mike Sobalski, CEO of Global Emissions Monitoring, and I want to introduce you to a once-in-a-century opportunity. Our product, called PIM60, is a software that calculates how much emissions a plant is giving out at any one time. By law, all plants, such as the one behind me, have to constantly monitor their emissions. Our product is the least expensive, most accurate way to do that. We're the only company on the earth that will promise our clients that if they use our product every year, we guarantee they'll pass their annual accuracy test. This is a disruptive technology that will change the way industry monitors their emissions. Let me tell you my story. Come on. I'm here today to ask for $300,000 for 15% stake in my company. The ultimate goal for me is to be able to build a company that I can go ahead and pass on to my kids. I want to help them with their financial future, but also I want to have them a place where they can go to work every day and address global climate change. I've put about $15,000 of my own money in this, and I'm excited. I think the Sharks and I together, we can do business. All right, now before I get into the numbers, let me go and kind of explain why this patented product is better than anything else out there. I was working in the emission testing business in the mid-90s when the first PEM, or predictive emission monitors, came out. Well, here's what they were. They were a software package that took the place of chemical analyzers. Right now, the plant behind me, they pull a small sample of their pollutants from the stack down into analyzers that will figure out what the concentration levels are of various pollutants. This is a very expensive way to do things. Well, this software package took their place, and it was half the cost. When I heard about this, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to make the old technology, SIMS, go the way of the typewriter or the dodo bird. What you're seeing right now is a graph produced by the EPA showing the cost differences between the old technology, SIMS, in red, and the new technology, PIMS, in blue. From the chart, you can see that over about a 10-year period, PIMS cost half as much as the old technology, SIMS. One of the most interesting things you'll see about this chart is that after about 10 or 12 years, an analyzer wears out and has to be thrown away. And so they have to start all over again with their initial huge investment. While a PIMS just keeps going on and on, it never wears out, it never has to be replaced. Well, there are two other advantages that this chart does not show. The first advantage that a PIMS has over a SIMS is the fact of reliability. A SIMS will be up about 95% of the time, a PIMS 99% of the time. Whenever a SIMS is down, you must put the highest emissions that you had all year into that missing time slot. The second advantage that a PIMS has over a SIMS that this chart doesn't show is safety. There are hazardous gases that must be on site to help calibrate the analyzers. PIMS doesn't need this, therefore it's safer. Okay, so now you know why PIMS were so incredible and why I thought the old technology was going to go the way of the typewriter. What happened? Well, by the late 90s, people were ripping PIMS out and putting back the old expensive technology. Why did they do it? Very simply, PIMS could not pass a 60-minute test. Yes, it was reliable. Yes, it did cost much less than a SIMS. But the problem was that the EPA every year says you must take a 60-minute test to see how accurate you are, and you must pass that test. Well, PIMS couldn't pass it. All the PIMS, the model-based PIMS, could not pass a short-term 60-minute test. Why? That's very simple. Because they're model-based. A model-based is a statistical algorithm that takes all the operating condition, kind of melds them together to be able to predict any one. Let me give you an illustration, a baseball illustration. A certain player hit 300 last year, and that's what you know. You know his batting average for the year was 300. Now I ask you two questions. The first one, what do you predict his average was for the months of June, July, and August? You say 300. You'd probably be very, very close. But now I ask you, what would his batting average be for August the 7th? Well, now you could be way high, you could be way low. With my PIMS, I understand every single at-bat he has for last year, not just the batting average. And so that when you ask for a short term, what did he do on August the 7th, I have all of those things that I could look up. So I'm the only PIMS able to pass a 60-minute test. PIM 60 is different than everybody else in the fact that it's engineered to pass a 60-minute test. Okay, it's all about the money, so let's go point by point over the numbers. A SIMS initial cost is about $145,000. PIM 60 initial cost is about $95,000. Now, when we first start off, there'll be little inefficiencies because we're a brand new company. We've got a lot of learning to do. But I think on our first one, it'll take about $31,500 to actually install it. Really, our only hard costs are a laptop and software for $1,500. All the rest is just manpower. I think eventually we'll be able to get it down where it'll only be about $25,000 for each installation. What that means is that for every unit that we sell, there'll be a $70,000 profit per unit. All right, now, let's talk about sales projections. For 2014, we want to do a beta test. There won't be any sales in the year 2014. Now, our strategy is this, is not to actually go and sell it ourselves, but to find environmental management software companies, companies such as SAP that are already in these big smokestack industries, and be a content provider for them. Basically, we'll be adding on. We'll be licensing our product to them, and then they'll sell them to the Fortune 500 companies that they're already in with. So what we need are basically two. We need one that's an EMS that's very, very, very popular in the power industry, and one that's popular in the petrochemical industry. If we can get those, I believe that in 2015, we'll have 35 sales, the following year 75. Then by 2017, we'll be going into the international market, we'll be up to 150. And finally, in the year 2018, 250, excuse me. Now remember, I told you that our product not only has a $95,000 initial cost, but there's a $7,000 a year licensing fee after that. And it's very important to have that because when sales dip, you want to have a nice cash flow. So for instance, in the year 2019, if we have 0 sales that year, we'll still make $3.5 million that year in licensing fees. Now, we want to find out how I'm going to use the $300,000 I'm asking the Sharks for. We'll need $180,000 in salary and benefits for 2 employees. $33,000 I want to get an international patent because we want to get moving over in Europe, Canada, Middle East. $32,000 to install the beta test. I have 2 people I'll be hiring who worked at a software company that did something very similar that I'm going to hire them in a short term to do the first beta test installation for us. I'll need $28,000 insurance to be allowed to go onto an industrial site. I know that once my beta test is done, I'm going to have bugs in my system, even though when I originally had my system built, I hired another software company to build a test software for the first software, but we know that once we get it going, we know we'll find bugs in it, and so I'll need a bug fix. And then lastly, $7,000 to join the Council of Industrial Boiler Owners, a very influential and powerful group that will help us get us in the door with many people and get the news out about our product. So this is what I plan to do with $300,000. Sharks, I need your help. In the past, I've marketed this wrong. I understand now that I've got to go to environmental management software companies that are very well established and be a content provider for them. In the past, I've tried to do it myself by going to environmental managers. These are good people, but they have no P&L responsibility. All they care about is compliance, and so me saving them 50% meant nothing to them. So what I need the opportunity to get in front of a CEO of a major power or petrochemical facility where I can tell them my story and get a beta test site. And then number 2, I need the Sharks' help in picking and getting negotiations complete with environmental management software companies for the US and for abroad. Thanks.